That's funny. I don't know what to even do with that.
I don't, I don't either. Like
I don't like. Although
the photos look cool. Like,
I was saying this to Jessica last night on Sports Nightly. Nothing he does or thinks of surprises me.
yeah,
There's this really fine line that I think he's good at, where or he I don't know if good's the word, but he uses it to his advantage.
okay,
He's very in tune with the perception and what's going on and what's being said without really coming across as having rabbit ears because a lot of what he does fits his personality anyway. He's got a little snark to him. He's creative.
hmm
He's very confident. And he doesn't really care so much about what people think. Right? He's secure in
yeah,
himself. So you combine all that
yeah.
and you're able to do and say some things that can maybe be construed as kind of a clapback. Maybe you're just playing the game.
hmm
Maybe it's you're playing up to it. You just don't really know for sure with him what his motives are
hmm
because he's got a wide range of Rolodex of emotions, and he can wear them all.
Yeah.
I mean, he has it in him to be petty. He has it in him to love. He has it in him to be pretty pretty funny.
hmm
He has it in him to be
Like
emotional.
he'll stand on business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Principle is one thing is one thing you don't have
that's
to
the
worry
word I
about.
was looking for. Principled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
So you know what's kind of funny is you bring that
The,
up.
at the I when boys a couple of my boys they first sent me the when it hit the internet.
Yeah.
And in my head I was like he's capable of anything, not surprised. And I don't even like I I'm surprised we didn't get to this yesterday, but I'm not surprised
Yeah.
because I typically talk about the things I'm interested in.
Yeah. But Monday was busy. We had a lot going on.
It didn't move my needle either way. So it was a non-starter for me.
Yeah.
And you get these talking heads or whatever nationally and even locally to some degree. Well, he better win and man, he's doing that like I that is so short-sighted
It is.
and juvenile. Like there is no ultimatum for having an identity. You do it and you let the chips fall where they may. Unless you want to live your whole life scared,
hmm
right? Like
Oh, what
I
do
don't I
people
don't
say if I don't make it? What are
yeah,
people going to
like
say if I lose? What are going to people say if?
that's for losers.
Yeah. That's how losers think.
It is. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know he better win. Why? Why? So is that going to curb what he thinks in the meantime
Yeah.
is
The
best for the
right thing to
program?
do.
That's no way to do life.
I mean, even to a much lesser extent with what we do, you know how uninteresting this show would be if either of us constantly thought, well, oh, what if I'm wrong about this?
Oh, I know.
What if I'm wrong about this take?
Yeah.
What if I'm wrong about what if I'm wrong and Dan Hurley's not a terrible person,
Yeah.
right? What if I'm wrong and the SEC is not a Ponzi scheme that's actually good at football? What if I'm wrong and Bo Jackson's not overrated, right? Like like it wouldn't be a fun show. And also you would get just reading of box scores basically is what would happen.
Oh, there's some people that try to
You
function
know,
like that.
yeah, I don't try to listen to those people. Like it's not I don't think it's very entertaining.
Yeah, I just don't get the ultimatums for
Oh, he better win.
vibing with your team in the meantime. I think
And
part
honestly, just making the university look cool.
or in some cases is this a perception? Let's play it up,
Yeah.
right?
Like
Let's
go to
take a picture.
Cowtown. Let's
Let's
go.
take a picture on
We got
tractors,
Bulls running through the
or
weight
let's have
room.
a sweet John Deere. Like, because here's the thing: they know more than we do.
Mhm.
They know considerably more than we do. They know what recruits think.
I'll say, especially with the vibe of the
They
recruits.
know what parents think and guardians and people traveling. They know what other schools are saying
Mhm.
about them. So why do we care?
And also, you know what? Like, imagine
We have the least amount of knowledge to be trying to, and it's okay to form. You can have your own thoughts
Mhm.
or whatever. Like, hey, I like this or I don't
or
like
just
this.
be open
But
to the idea that you don't have all the facts.
and like you don't just get to lay down the ultimatum.
Mhm.
Like the world, it doesn't work like that.
Also, what do you think?
Because if they don't win, they're not gonna change.
Also, everybody knows they have to win. Like, what hot take do you think you're dropping? We're like, well, they better win because they brought a bull in the weight room.
It's easy to say that because you pit it against something that you can tangibly go back and get.
Yeah. You're literally, I mean, you're just setting it up to be like, well, I told you when they brought the tractors in that this was blah, blah, blah. And it's like everybody knows they need to win.
It's
everybody.
It's such low-hanging fruit. It's I don't know.
I
told myself I was going to be positive today.
I am being positive. A couple recruits in. So apparently the process works again.
For some, yeah.
Are we good now? Got 8 in the class again?
We're okay. We're okay. We got... It's
a 4-star DB that chose Nebraska over Ohio State, Penn State, Oklahoma, Clemson. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
Is that group of 4 teams pretty good?
That's pretty good. How about
what did Ohio State do last year?
How about Odom's last 12 months? Yeah. I was joking, tongue-in-cheek. Mainly it was just to prove my point because I can be petty. But that he wasn't getting that life without Nebraska in it.
Yeah.
He just wasn't.
I mean, same thing with it, basically.
Weirdly, I was glad to see Broom.
Yeah.
Hey man, what a 12 months for you, man. Started from nothing and now we're here. He's not wrong.
Yeah. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
And we just saw the escalation of the stars.
I mean, really not a terribly different situation than CJ Brana.
Oh no, very similar
in terms of Nebraska in early. Now, you didn't get the commit early from Odom, but it played out very similarly in terms of the interest from other teams.
Now, and I will say this, I think, and I said this yesterday, and I said this before the weekend started, I think everybody knows that the continual recruitment of Odom is a must.
Sure.
He will have some suitors that will not go away.
Yeah, Ohio State came on really strong.
Yeah.
This is a guy that everybody wanted.
Yeah.
Like everybody good wanted this guy.
Yeah, and I'm with Lance here. He's got my attention early this morning. I feel like I was talking to him the whole way over here, but he's like, it's so weird that people care about Rhule in the photo. Like, who cares? Like,
it's not for you.
I mean,
it's really not.
But it's always something.
Yeah.
Well, he did this here. Those players are here. They're not doing like. Do you really think they don't understand what's at stake?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you want them to live their lives? And we have such strong opinions on what they should do, and it's
can't live in fear. Can't live in fear.
Why?
You can't live in fear of what if we don't.
I don't know. There's plenty of sports and other topics to talk about. So I don't really think you need filler. But the hot takes over like appearances in public.
Well, you'd have to watch the hot.
Listen, he was on this show and he was on that show and man, he took this photo and that looked ridiculous with that jersey. And why would he be wearing those? I'm like, oh my God, like stop.
We're doing too much.
And here's the other thing. People have to have you can't just sit on your hands all day when you work as hard as they do. Like you have to have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game. And I get the fiscal aspect of it. But you know what? When we critique and we blast and we put people on social media, everybody gets their comeuppance anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the ride that you're on, man, enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy the highs. You got to weather the lows.
It's exactly what it is. You take what comes with it. And so it's like, it is. And
here's
I don't understand. Like, don't most people want balance in their life?
And here's the thing for me. Like, I don't even care that.
By the way, did you sleep well last night?
The photos, I slept okay.
We good.
That the photos and the appearances and all that stuff. Maybe some of those are for me. Some of those aren't for me. I get that. Here's the thing that I'll ride with Coach Rhule all the time because he's been very, very consistent about this among a lot of things. Like he's very consistent in general. But one of the things that he's always been very consistent on since the day he got here was advocating for the university and the state of Nebraska. That's what the appearances are. That's what the photo ops are. Like he is letting you know. Because how often have you heard? I know people think this is a joke. How often have you heard people that are like, oh, we didn't know Nebraska had all this? Not just facilities. I mean like the city. We didn't know they had actual cities. We didn't know that Lincoln and Omaha were what they were. We didn't know you've got a metro population of 1 million 40 minutes down the road from the university, and that you got a few 100,000 in Lincoln itself. People don't know that. Did you see the video we made at College World Series with the players asking them what the population of Omaha was?
It was ridiculous.
Almost all of them said under 100,000.
So the funny thing about that is like people were, was I on three? I don't know. I was on one of the scribes, and it was like, ooh man, look at the diss on Omaha, because the joke is in state versus out of state, not in state versus out of state, in metro versus outstate, and it's kind of a running joke. There's a lot of sarcasm. I don't think Crime Town, Swim Town, this whole back and forth with Omaha and the rest of the deal. And the thing about it was over those videos is big city slickers, or they think they're this booming metropolitan. It's like people just like go out of their way to poke fun, but clearly it comes from somewhere, right? Right. It used to drive players crazy when they would do those cool opens. When there's only a handful of national games every week, and inevitably you'd get the tractor
shot of the cornfield,
and the tractor and plowing, and we would have so many guys that weren't from here that would be like, man, it's not even really like this. And the coaching staff and TO would say, hey, it's part of the fabric. Like you just you got to ride with it. This is part of sustaining the revenue and the state's product. And so there was always this well talked about balance, but it was intentional. Like this has been going on for forever.
Yeah.
And fortunately, people that recruit against Nebraska, especially when you get to the Browards, the Dates, the Los Angeles, the DFW area, people use Lincoln against Nebraska all the time. All the time. And I think Nebraska's been super calculated in terms of how they tried to combat that with diversity. I talk about, you think I'm playing when I talk about food choices and the ability to eat places and how your food vendors cater to your student athletes. They recruit across the country. They recruit internationally. Their flexibility within the programs has to be very, very apparent, right? You have to appeal to people from Sweden to Lincoln to Los Angeles,
Miami
to Liberty City.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So not everything is going to be for everybody, but they have made a concerted effort. Hey, you want country today? Let's do a country theme. Why do you think it's so important for guys like Elijah Judy to get on a mechanical bull and learn to rope? Because if you're going to hang out with Carter Nelson, who's on the offensive side of the ball, and Carter Nelson wants to be able to talk to you about coming back to Ainsworth, you don't want it to be some foreign concept, right? So I'm not saying they're going all old school with Herman Boone, and it's like, sit by another brother, but it is
Julius and Gary.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
Why do they cross recruit? Why do you share coaches? Why do you have to be in other position rooms? Why do you hang out with other guys, right? I mean, just look at who people live with.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very diverse, and it's intentional. I mean, it was kind of Trev's vision, and Dannon is such a always thinking. He's just a thinker, right? And you put it with Coach Rhule and Dr. Elza and that staff, and Coach Cook was really, really cool. Manning being such a lifelong learner, his evolution to cater to multiple kinds of student athletes over the tenure of his career has been nothing short of fantastic.
Do you think like 8 years ago he would have brought in an AJ Ferrari?
No.
Right? That's kind of what you're talking about, right?
It's 100% what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there are times, like, we'll talk, like, sometimes I'm like, and he'll say yes. I don't know. We should. Sometimes I just want to call him.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, like, this is out there. I don't want to have rabbit ears, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about why this is important.
Yeah.
Or Coach Rhule or even like Amy Wood, like, it's all over the place. And coaches that don't. You do have to stand on some sort of business, right? You can't be all willy-nilly like these leaves blowing in the wind. But the evolving with what is happening culturally without compromising who you are as the leader,
Mm-hmm.
that's the game you have to play, because what are kids trained to see now is authenticity. And if they're not seeing it and they go someplace else, those aren't the people you have to worry
They're
about
out.
playing against. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about playing with or against them for very long, because it's not going to last.
Yeah, because
They'll
can't.
be looking for the next new
They can't endure.
shiny toy someplace else.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I do think it goes back to that thing we talked about being principled in
And
philosophy.
if that makes guys and gals upset that I said that, that means I'm probably talking to you.
Like there's a difference between being principled in philosophy versus being principled in details, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how you avoid being wishy-washy but still being adaptable, right? And you know, you brought up Dannon, and I hesitate to say this because of kind of how hard I went on Trev, but like two things can be true at once. Obviously, Trev did some good things while he was here. I'm not going to pretend like that didn't happen, right? I also think it may have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise for Dannon to come in when he did. Like, I think he's a really, really good fit for this time in Nebraska athletics. And I think his particular personality and skill set are uniquely suited to here.
Yeah.
And so, and again, I try not to.
I mean, we're just trying to beat the average stay for an AD, right? What is it, 2.7, 3.7 years? It's under 4.
It's rough.
It's under 4.
It's rough.
So, yeah. I mean,
but he seems like a guy that can, you know, he kind of gives the aw shucksy, and so it's a little hard at first blush to kind of take him as seriously as you should. But that guy is obviously really bright, and I think the thing that I like about him the most, which is funny because I don't have this in me, is it doesn't seem like he needs the credit.
He couldn't care less.
Like he'll get things done, he'll do what needs to be done, and doesn't need the credit.
And he makes some tough decisions.
Yeah,
but I think he's got a good team. You know, the one thing I like is kind of how I try to balance people that I bounce ideas off of, right? I kind of want a new age thinker. Sometimes I kind of want a person that has a good lay of the land. You know, for
you like some diversity of thought.
I do. Like I can't go to. It's a good example. Like I can't go to Kugler for all things media. I'd love to.
Yeah. But he's got some different experiences that probably don't apply to what you're doing.
He's at the top of his profession. He's extremely experienced. Some of the things that we're dealing with now, like he is either didn't have to do or he's past.
Like past the point of having to do with them. Yeah.
Right? So I just use him as an example in the media business because of all this.
Because you guys are close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's given you a lot of advice in the past.
100%.
Yeah. But it's not a thing where you can. He's not the only voice you can hear. Because
like I have to bounce that off. Like let's say, Jeff Colhane is not a great example because he's a little in the same boat. But you know, I got to pick two. Okay, I'll give you one. Two totally different personalities. Kugler, Ben McLaughlin.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And two very different jobs.
Vastly different.
Same industry.
Personality types.
Yeah.
Same industry.
Different jobs.
You know, another guy. Like sometimes it'll be like a guy like Larry Putney.
Oh yeah.
Right? Who I like for different reasons because, you know, Larry's just gonna tell me. We'll worry about the feelings later.
Yeah.
But I know he means well.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think balance. And then it's up to the person that's like collecting the information.
Yeah, the receiver of the information.
Then they can do with it what they will.
Especially if you search out certain things.
What I can't stand is the little cuddle buddy, huddle up group think tank, and then boom, this is how we're rolling. Like that's just not something that I'm really gonna be a part of. And I think with this, it's with Coach Rhule or the image or where Dylan is or isn't or what's Emmett doing or the branding. I think at the end of the day with players and kind of what's out there, you see the like the reports from Ohio State and NIL and kind of what they're doing with Nike and the branding, and like schools are committing money to research with marketing and branding companies about what young athletes want. You think coaches want to do that?
Probably not.
No, they don't.
Most coaches just want to coach ball.
But you better handicap yourself with the facts, though. Hey, why is this guy so fascinated with Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's this, this, and this. Okay. Maybe I can help them out with IG, but you better, when I need you from this time to this time to this time and this time,
Better
and
put
it's
the
not,
phone away.
you better deliver.
Yeah.
Right. When we put that stuff out on the iPad, and you have a couple hours to turn it back in and get it done, it better be with some sort of proficiency.
Yeah.
Otherwise, those other things go away.
Yeah.
Coach Rhule.
You can have all the liberties you want as long as you get the other stuff done.
I think I can say this. He poked his head in total impromptu in one of the interviews. And he was talking about somehow he got on wanting to do things for student athletes because the media company, Playfly, Andy was like, hey, you know what? We've got to do a really good job of helping our clients and the totality of what you're after. How can we help you? How can we help you?
Yeah.
And the cliffs of that conversation is Coach Rhule was talking about marketing and branding and collecting NIL and making sure that we support initiatives that way. But he said it's bigger than that now with the media component. And they need to figure out how to capitalize on that like some other schools like Ohio State is doing. Like he's always thinking.
Yeah.
He's always looking to see, okay, where are our competitors? How does it fit with what we do? And at the topical level, it's why are you worried about what Ohio State's doing? Remember, I've said this from day one. Their philosophy and how they carry themselves, regardless of what the record says, is as a big time program. They don't want to have to go back and play catch. If they all of a sudden accidentally start winning, you don't want to have to.
That's like you see those teams that kind of.
You don't want to have to ramp up and say, oh, shoot, what's next? What's next? You want to operate at a certain way. Make sure you have limited the variables. You put yourself in good position. Then you go out and play ball and see what happens in the win-loss column. You don't want to do it the other way.
No. You want to put yourself in a position to be sustainable.
You want to be prepared.
Yeah.
It fits with the recruiting philosophy. It fits with what they're trying to do with revenue. It fits with what they're trying to do with branding. He doesn't dislike talking, but he's not talking to McElroy or Josh Pate or
Jim
Sipple or Rome or McAfee because he doesn't have anything else better to do. It's intentional.
Yeah.
It is extremely intentional.
He's the face of the program.
So it's
as much as Dylan is, maybe more.
And he embraces it. So, but at the end of the day,
you think Dylan would be any of these places if Coach Rhule wasn't okay with it?
And I think they talk about it a fair amount.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go together.
I'll say, which by the way, you want to I think I can say this dirty little secret. You know the interview that we put out of Dylan Raiola at the College World Series?
Yeah.
Coach Rhule was standing like 10 feet from him.
Right.
Like, it's not like he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, he's well aware.
Like they were there together.
He's well aware.
I don't know if they drove together, but they were there. Like they were there together. This is not this isn't a thing where
when I
Rhule was just running around.
When I see those pictures and stuff,
yeah,
I didn't impromptu, and I didn't just think of it. Now, what we think that has to do with winning and losing, that's up to the individual.
But it doesn't matter because
I just know he ain't worried about that part. He's not talking to you.
He thinks that
it's
important.
That's not for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly,
and how many times do you want to say that in life?
You know the thing that I want to be.
You know how much better off we would be?
Yeah.
If we knew what wasn't for us.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's not for me. I can move on.
Right. And just move on.
Just pay it no mind. I'm
not for me.
I'm moving on. You know what I think would be really useful if we could say in life all the time? That I think is something that Coach Rhule and his staff will be able to say is if it doesn't go the way we want to, it's not because we missed anything.
Yeah.
Right? most of the time. I mean,
The leaving no stone unturned thing, I think, is pretty big,
and it matters, right? What are we talking about? Control what you can control. Like, do everything you can to prepare yourself to be successful. And how many times over the last, I don't know, let's go all the way back to Callahan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any coach, Callahan, Bo, Riley, Frost, even Solich, you think you could sit here and say, oh, without a shadow of a doubt, it didn't work out here because they didn't miss anything, right? You could point to something on each one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I yes.
Right?
Yes.
No matter how much we like them or don't,
Yes.
you could point to something for each one. And for some people, you can point to multiple things. For some people, it's like, if they had gotten this one thing right, we feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Like, fewer things went wrong for Solich than it did for Frost, obviously.
And so far, the difference with HCMR is he's not leaving anything to chance.
Yeah.
So and everybody's different, right? You get, I think of like the Bill Hipshers of the world, or Noddle. I was talking to Noddle last night. Got a new development plan going up. Shout out to him. Little medical facility going up out in Gretna. And, he gives me this kind of blind squirrel finding a nut reference, and we're talking, and it's, kind of one of his philosophies about pushing the envelope is you never know until you do your due diligence. So it sounds really easy, but what people sometimes will talk themselves into is I'm afraid, or it's too big of this, or I can't really make sense of it in the moment, so I'll table it. And some people just feel like it's a waste of time to worry about things that aren't there yet. They just go with what they see. So everybody's kind of wired differently, but it's like it's like being able to look at, and I admire these people because I'm not really like that, except when it comes to young people. Like young people, I'm always, okay, what's next? How do I envision? Oh, you can try. Don't limit yourself. I'm not so much like that with almost anything else. Like I can't look at a room and see a wall being removed, or a false wall put up, or shelving, or moving a laundry room from downstairs to upstairs. Like I can't see those things, so I don't concern myself with it. It's just like, this is kind of how it is. This is the functionality of it. And so I'm always fascinated by people that can look at the same thing that I'm looking at
and see something different.
Yeah. Like because I admire the vision, right? How does that fit with the sports landscape? Well, I gave you 5 skill guys, including Rhule. I could give you any 5. What intrigues me by that? Well, maybe this guy's not going to be a Z. Maybe he's not going to play X. Maybe he's going to come out of the backfield. Maybe he's going to be an inline tight end. Maybe he's going to be in an H-back, right?
Mosey.
Right? Yeah, with Mosey, right? Put him in the backfield. Yeah. I'd put him in the backfield, right?
Bring up with Harburg and Lindemeyer, like the tight end room in general a lot.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with those guys?
Let EJ be the final number 4 out of motion, and he's going to get your 4th best defender.
Why? That's why you keep asking me.
Or,
if you roll these guys out there, what alignment are they going to be in?
What are we going to do? I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Making the puzzle piece fits, and sometimes you see it with houses. These people that can turn and burn and flip homes, and I'm like, how'd you see that based on
where we
started? That's one of the things that I like about Coach Rhule, because he's picked everybody's brain. Past coaches, current coaches, business people, fiscal analysts, former general managers, current general managers, CEOs of shoe companies, restaurants, like people that own, like supply and demand and food chain, and the difference between volume and margin.
Yeah.
Volume and margin. If you're operating in abundance in bulk, it's about volume. Volume. I have 55 tables. How many people can I run through?
Yeah.
Volume. If I'm a smaller restaurant and this is what I spend, my plates may be a little more expensive. What is my margin?
Yeah.
It's the exact way he looks at NIL, spending, revenue sharing. Little things like that that you just don't think typically people like him do. But a guy that's very good fiscally
Mhm.
and really good with his money. I almost said tight, but I'm not in his pocketbooks like that. I just know he's not running out to buy anything unnecessarily.
Sure.
He's just not,
Mhm.
right? Um, you want leadership like that.
Yeah.
You just do. So if he's spending money wisely and they're bringing in good people, I couldn't care less what kind of photo ops he does.
Yeah.
I felt like he wasn't the first one. My man had. I wanted to kind of help wash his face, but he had these little eye boogers and this little wrinkled sleep shirt from an early morning meeting with a recruit, and I'm just like, you didn't have to come straight from the office. You could have just run home or go down to the locker room. Or my man wanted to be early, but it's just like, I'm cool with that. Like, I know you'll lay it on the line.
Yeah.
So I don't. Those kinds of things don't. If you weren't working, it would be different.
Yeah.
It would be different. But I don't know, man. I just get the sense he knows what he's doing, and clearly, you're getting these guys on campus without them saying yes. And I get it, man. I hear you, but they got to start saying yes. Is he supposed to stop trying?
Nah.
Like, I don't understand that.
Again, it's
We
what's the
need
alternative?
them to say yes. No bleep. But in the meantime,
Hey, I don't know if you know this. We got to start winning games.
he has to keep trying.
Yeah. What's the alternative?
Like the doom and gloom and the negative, like, well, they're not even saying yes. It's like, hey, man, you still have to do the work.
Yeah.
You still have to do the work.
You have to get them to the point where they have to
You know how
make a
many
decision.
successful businesses put in bids that not everybody says yes?
All of them. All of them.
You still got to go through the process, man.
Nobody bats 1,000 on
because
those.
you have to be ready
Yeah.
for the yes.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for the yes, just like you have to be ready for the wins. Do you think he all of a sudden wants to tell, 73% of his roster that, hey, didn't go the way we wanted to, man. We're going to revamp this culture that I talked about. Got to hit the portal. You think he wants to do that?
No.
No. So you're gonna give yourself every opportunity to make sure that the development plan is in place. You've constructed the roster a certain way. It is intentional. And you're putting a premium on needing to win football games. It's a scary proposition for people that are ill prepared. If you're prepared and you're a competitor, you understand it's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
You know you have to win.
Yeah. That's the given.
It's not some, ooh, I'm fearful of it. You embrace needing to win.
Because they want to win more as much as you do.
And don't think they want to be out there with their thumb in their butt doing it for no reason, man. I mean, nobody
trying to
wants
figure
to
it
get
out on
out
the
of the
fly.
rack at 5:30 and go hang and bang just to, not try to go win.
Yeah, to not have it go the way you want it to.
Yeah, you got some skin in the game.
I have one job. It's to win at Nebraska.